Hi and welcome back. In the previous video you saw how DialogFLow is connected to Google Project and what settings are available for DialogFLow agent. In this video you'll learn about intent basics. First you'll get familiar with welcome and fallback intent. These are two predefined intents we have when we create an agent. In the process you'll learn what are the building blocks of an intent. And then you'll be ready to create your own intent. When you create an agent, you have two intents already set up. Before I'll tell you more about them, let me show you a diagram. Here is a DialogFLow agent. In the agent we can define more intents and we have two already predefined for us. DialogFLow first receives an HTTP request. In the request it writes for what agent the request is for. This request is basically a JSON structure with text, event or audio. Agent then takes this input and matches it with all the intents in the agent using machine learning and rules to find the best fit. And when it finds the best fit, it knows how to convert the input to intent, action, parameters and response. So in the intent we define intent's name, action that needs to be taken, parameters to be read from the string and a response. Okay, let's go back to DialogFLow. Let's take a look at the intent we have already created for us. First one is the fallback intent. This is the intent that will be triggered if no other intent will be matched. So agent will take the string and match it with all the intents, and if no one matches, then it will trigger this intent. The first thing we see are contexts. Context is what glues intents together. It's like a topic of the discussion. We need to know in what context user said something. But I'll tell you all about this very soon. It doesn't apply to this intent. The next thing are events. Intents can be triggered by text or audio. But not only that. Intent can also be triggered by an event like click on the button, click on the list. We can add custom events that trigger the intent. And yes, sure, we'll do exactly that in this course. I'll show you everything. But in this intent we don't need to add it. What we have here is the action, and it is already defined as input.unknown. If you remember, we had talked that in our backend app we handle action. Let me refresh your memory. Here is a diagram. Well, what we could also do is maybe send an email to customer support. In my case that would be me, with notification. Some user has problems interacting with the bot. Okay, this would be done in the backend app, that is here. Okay, back to DialogFLow. Every intent has the training phrases. This is what the user says to the agent. Every possible sentence that could be set to trigger the specific intent. Well, we don't need one here. Fallback intent will be triggered anytime no other intent is matched. And with fallback intent it's a little bit different. Everything that we would wrote in this intent as a training phrase would not be then matched in any other intent. So for example, if we were selling tickets for concerts and the user wrote to the bot, I want tickets to soccer game this weekend. We would write this sentence here. We would not want this phrase to trigger any other intent, since we're not selling tickets to soccer games, but just music concerts. Okay, does that make sense? Way down here we have defined responses. So these are all possible answers bot can say when it does not understand the input string. Only one of these will be returned. This is because the conversation needs to sound more natural. If the bot would always reply to the user something like I didn't get it, can you say that again? That would start to be annoying. Remember Star Trek and unable to comply? Well, they might start using DialogFLow now for better user experience. But still, if we design an agent in a way that fallback intent would be triggered too many times, that would still annoy bot users. And that is number one reason why users are not satisfied with bots. Poor user experience design. But that is another story we won't cover in this course. Let's go back to all intents. Let's take a look at welcome intent. Click on it. This intent is a bit different. By default, it's triggered with an event called welcome. We'll use this intent in our chatbot, So I'll show you how to trigger intents with events soon. We would add some training phrase here if we wanted the user to start the conversation to the bot, but we won't. Why? Well, because we'll greet the user when he or she comes to the page, so we'll trigger this intent when the page loads, okay? With the welcome event. The other difference is that this intent has also an option to define parameters to be collected from user string. Every intent will have this option. Every intent we create from now on. And we're ready to create a new intent now. Okay, we've now looked at the fallback and welcome intent. And before we move to our custom-made intent, let's take a short break. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.